Hi, this is Majinoni, and here's my review for Brightest Day number 10. Now, things are really kicking into gear with a couple of these storylines. There's going to be some spoiler warnings, so if you haven't read your book, come back later. Primarily with 10, what we're dealing with is the Aqualad, Aquaman story, and the Firestorm story. Now, the Firestorm story was kind of going off and on with me. I wasn't that excited by it, but with the recent developments in this issue, it really made things interesting, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. Now I know why the Black Lantern Firestorm is so dangerous, and I'll go into that part in just a little bit. Now, the Aqualad story, we finally kind of get a small or a very short origin of the new Aqualad, and his story actually ends with a bang, in a sense. It's something that we've been wanting to see for a long time, and I'm really excited to see what's going to be coming up next. The art is decent, it's to be what's expected so far. This scene here actually doesn't happen, so don't get too excited about that. And overall, though, like I said, I'm really, really happy with this issue. I think this was one of the more stronger issues, recently at least. Much better than the last one, for sure. So let's take a look at what's going on here. With the Firestorm, what we have is basically the two trying to figure out like the extent of their powers, how is the powers working, and the professor's helping them. And it's pretty much the same thing where they have to know the chemical composition for it. Ronnie has to know the chemical composition of items to actually transform it, which is actually going to be a problem. But as you can see here, when you remove the glove, Firestorm is not the same person as he once was. Professor Stein realizes that there's something much more dangerous going on, and then he's going to explain that in just a little bit. And basically, actually I could say he's basically the most dangerous person in the universe now. From here, Aquaman, he leaves Tula behind, and we go into the Aqualad story. Apparently, obviously, his dad isn't his dad, and his mom wasn't his, parents. And one day he explains that we were out, and a woman came to us, dropped off the baby, said that one day you're gonna be the savior of the war between like land and sea type thing. And that's when they realized that they didn't want to give that up, and then they moved far away from the ocean. Now they go back to a cabin to retrieve his armor that he had, or his uniform that was left with him, and that's when Black Manta shows up. I love this picture of Black Manta. I think this is really cool, especially the way the eyes are glowing. Anyways, the dad does heroic thing, they jump in the car, tells the kid to drive, and what he's going to do is he's going to put the son in the water because he realizes that's his son's best hope of survival, is getting him into the water, and that way he can use his powers. And we have a small battle between Aqualad and Black Manta. Black Manta, in a sense, isn't really threatened by him, you can tell, because, for the most part, here we have a seasoned villain, and we have an inexperienced hero. So in a way, it almost looks like he's just testing it out, seeing, what's the extent of his power, in a way. While that's going on, you have, what's-her-name coming in to a sister, and they're about to kill the dad, but Aquaman steps up and saves the day. Great picture right here. This is definitely a very cool first, not first page, but a full-page picture. From there, Dr. Stein basically explains that what happens with Firestorm is if the two guys if they get along, everything's great. If they argue, which they have been doing, what it's doing is it's basically destabilizing this matrix, and what could happen potentially is they could unravel the universe. He doesn't know what the percentage is. It could be maybe 1 in a million. It could be maybe 1 in 100,000. They don't know. So ultimately, what's going to have to happen is they're going to have to get along. Unfortunately for them, Black Lantern, Firestorm appears. And this is, I think, an awesome picture of fire with the Black Lantern Firestorm. I think overall, this is probably the best look that I've seen of it, and this really, really got me interested in it. Overall, I think it's a solid issue. It's pretty entertaining overall, but then the only drawback to this long story is if you haven't been reading, you're behind. And there's like the only way you're going to be able to catch up is if you find all the 10 back issues or 9 back issues or wait for trades. At this point, I'd almost say wait for trades because they're going to be coming out eventually. DC's historically slow, so we'll see what happens. If you have any comments or questions, just let me know. Rate the channel up and down, or rate the video, I should say, up and down. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel. And which of the 2 stories were your favorite? Was it the Aqualad or the Firestorm? I mean, personally, Aqualad for me was still the better story, but I think the Firestorm picture, that was very impressive. So I'll have more reviews up, and until next time.